Oh, you got a pen.
I feel prepared.
Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, that's good. Do you have one? Your wife put it in here. Mine.
We're at a moment of silence.
Yes.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's have a moment of silence for all those affected by wars, the Ukraine, the Middle East, and those affected by violence in general. And I suppose another moment of silence, we have Memorial Day coming up for all of our veterans. We don't meet next week, we do have a parade, but we'll have a moment of silence or prayer for them as well. Public services, do you have any public service announcement? Maybe not.
I have none. Thank you.
And I just have, obviously, we have Memorial Day coming up next Monday. We do have a parade. I believe it begins at 9:30.
9.
Oh, 9? I apologize, 9 o'clock next Monday on Memorial Day. So it's a beautiful event. We march down 131. We go to the various cemeteries.
Yeah, there's a schedule online because it's go, stop, but the first kickoff is from the old fire station at 1:48 and 20. Okay, other than that,
Yep, I'll do the rundown. All right. Thank you for attending tonight. On tonight's agenda at 6:35, we have a public hearing for a national grid poll. Then we have a joint meeting with the Burgess School Committee. Then we're going to jump into department reports with the police chief, and then a town administrator biweekly memo. And for action items, we have consideration and possible action on signing the town meeting warrant, consideration and possible action on the appointment of Brendan Baxter as a full-time police officer, consideration and possible action on the appointment of Lillian Harvey as a full-time paramedic, consideration and possible action on the appointment of Addison Dana as a full-time paramedic, consideration and possible action on the appointment of Cameron Courtney as a part-time EMT, consideration and possible action for additional part-time police officer, consideration and possible action on a temporary dock application. Then we'll have another consideration and possible action on a temporary dock application for Clark Road. Consideration and possible action on the reappointment of John Durkee to the Design Review Committee. Consideration and possible action on a transient vendor license for Wendy Collins. In consideration and possible action to enter into an agreement with Karen Sonnenberg Consulting for provision of support services for the Affordable Housing Trust. Then we'll do old business, new business, correspondence, approval of minutes, citizens forum, and executive session. So it's just before 6:35.
Where? I think we're on it.
Yeah,
Want me to read it?
Yeah.
National Grid has made a petition to the Sturbridge Board of Selectmen, to install one SO pole on Putnam Road, beginning at a point approximately 90 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Putnam Road and North Sturbridge Road. The installation of a new pole, number 92-84. National Grid also requests permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, wires, and the above are intersecting public ways. The poll hearing will take place on Monday, May 20, 2024, 6:35, Sturbridge Town Hall, second floor, Veterans Memorial Hall, Sturbridge, Mass.
All right, do we have anyone from National Grid here today? Want to come right up? How you doing? You want to just give your name and...
My name is Alexander Mutz. I'm going to be here for National Grid today for this poll petition.
Great, Alexander, thank you. You want to tell us a little bit of what's going on?
Yeah, this feeds into, we've had a few other poll petitions on Podunk Road. This new pole is going to just be a support pole for an existing pole that we are going to be replacing on that corner of Podunk Road and Putnam Road. The new pole is just going to be providing support for the new line that's going to be running from North Sturbridge Road south towards the Podunk Annex.
So this is going where current pole is now?
No, it's going to be attaching to an existing pole.
Yep.
The new pole is just going to be supporting the angle of the new line.
Okay.
So if you think about it, like the pole line's going to be coming down North Sturbridge Road, and then it's going to be cutting over to the Podunk Road Annex, and the pole is just going to be in the middle of that angle and just kind of be able to support the new line.
Great, thank you.
So does that mean there's two poles together, the existing pole and a support pole?
No, so it's going to be, the
don't
existing
follow.
pole is pole 92 on North Sturbridge Road. That's going to be replaced, and the new pole is going to be across it along the side of Putnam Road, and there's just going to be a wire that goes across the road and connects to that pole.
Okay, so it's going from one side of the road to the opposite side of the road?
Correct.
And then it's going to have the wires connecting it?
Yes.
Is it going in front of somebody's house now?
I don't believe so. I think that I was out there and it's just, it's the corner of North Sturbridge Road and Putnam Road. There's a bunch of tree cover there, and it's going to be installed directly on the side of the road.
Okay. Do you taking down any additional trees for that?
I do not think they're going to take any trees down. It's just going to be one pole, and then they're going to anchor the pole along the roadway.
Okay, is this the same poll that you were here for before?
Different-
That we had questions on?
No, different
No?
pole. It's in the same section it's in the same section as the last hearing, but this one was not encompassed in that first hearing.
Okay, because we don't have a packet for it, so
Okay.
thus the questions.
You didn't get a packet on that? You didn't get anything in the packet on that one?
Yeah, there was sketches that we
Yeah, there was
provided.
I apologize, I thought you had it in your packet.
This is a public hearing, so is there anybody in the audience that has any questions at this time?
Claudia Norton, and I reside in the Road. Some questions about it. So I understand that this notification was merely for one new pole, the SO pole. Can you tell me what SO represents?
Yes, so SO means that it's going to be a national grid only pole, and there will not be, like Verizon will not buy into the pole, so it's just there for National Grid's interests.
I went through the diagrams, and there is legend that indicates abbreviations which are not defined. It would be very helpful going forward to please include an abbreviation list.
Okay.
I understand that this new pole is merely a supporting pole. It's not going to, it won't contain wires itself.
There'll just be a non-energized wire that's used for support.
The purpose of this pole, though, is to support additional poles that are going to be added along the old Podunk Road. Is that correct?
It's also going to be used to support the existing pole 92 with the new cable.
I thought that was, maybe
As of now, the cable goes down North Sturbridge Road, and then it makes a corner and goes down Putnam Road.
The type of wiring that's going to be used on these new poles, what will it involve?
Nothing different than you'd see on, out in the front of your road. If you ever look up and you see a pole with 3 wires on top, it's going to be similar to that.
Okay, so nothing different at all?
No, nothing different.
It won't be high-tension wires?
No, the only high-tension wire is going to be a support cable that runs on top. So there's one support cable on top, and then they hang the other wires underneath it. And that high-tension cable is not energized, and it's only there to support the live cables and to protect them for trees.
The purpose of adding this pole, though, is to begin the process essentially for adding the wires and clearing that's occurring along the retired Podunk Road. So I propose unto you that I would like to know the plan in its entirety rather than in part, rather than improving one pole at a time. Because there are 9 poles, I believe, along the retired Putnam Road, or Podunk Road, excuse me, that are planned, and that will impact our houses that border that property.
Well,
This poll's going in the public right away.
Yeah, this one's
Yeah.
going on the public right away. And the other polls were held in a separate petition hearing.
I understand that it's a public location.
Yeah.
As well as the old abandoned Podunk Road. But you're approving one pole at a time now in that process. And I'd like to know the plan in its entirety.
So we approved the polls at a previous meeting, and then this is an addition to that. Do you see any coming forward in the future, or is this on this run, or was just this one forgot about, or?
I actually do not know why. This one should have been in the last hearing. I don't know if that's just how they broke it up, but it's on the same work request. Like, it'll all be done in the same time period as the other work is planned.
So it's probably appropriate for me then to speak about the poles that are going to go along the abandoned Podunk Road. Can you tell me what height poles, what the change poles?
You know, ma'am, I don't want to interrupt you, and I'm sorry, but that was for a different hearing that was already approved?
Those,
Yeah.
if I might, so we had a hearing on those. I believe they were approved pending
Conservation.
conservation.
approval.
So, and then now there's a work order, in fact, for a notice of intent, I believe, in front of conservation.
Yes.
For those. So those still have to go through the conservation process. We also are reviewing the whole project for the trees involved.
Yes.
Over there will be tree hearings through planning
Okay.
for this
So we would be
project.
interested in.
So there will be more, and we did have a public meeting. In fact, I was going to put that in my update on May 9th. We had a meeting out front on the properties. I understand not everybody was able to get there or aware, but we are willing to
We
go.
weren't notified about it, the neighbors.
Well,
Parent
so
neighbors
it
did.
wasn't, yeah, so I had put it out at these meetings. We had put it out as publicly as we could. I didn't have a list of every neighbor or abutter because it wasn't a formal meeting like this where you get notified as an abutter. It really was a meeting just to meet neighbors with concerns. If there is a specific concern, I'm happy to go back out. If you email me, I'm happy to go back out, meet you back out there with Grid. They've been very good about meeting. Our tree warden also went out. So you can call my office, the town administrator's office, and I'm happy to come out and set up a time with Grid.
I think that's important. We did express during last meeting the tree barrier that's being removed, security for gating the area
Yes,
also.
and we talked about a gate, the awareness that there would be a gate replaced there at that main entrance of the old Podunk, and we're having discussions now when the tree hearings come about the fact that the company that's doing this project would have to add trees to make up for the trees that they take out, and we're actually discussing if they can add trees onto the back of the private properties there to, what's removed for a buffer gets increased on the back side of it, so we had a discussion even with the owner of the project on that. So I'm happy to set a time, and I don't want to interrupt the board on that, but because that officially isn't the public hearing tonight, we just have to be a little careful.
Thank you for explaining. But we were not notified about the May 9th tour, so how will I receive notification of the tree hearings and going?
So again, the tree hearings are public notice, that those projects are public notice because they're formal public meetings. This was just a meeting that we all agreed we would just go out and meet out front. It's not an elected body or a voting body meeting, which is a little bit different. We tried to put it out as publicly as we could. I know you had names of a few people that we missed and some names of people that had asked to be part of it. Some neighbors talked to other neighbors, so it was very informal, but I'm happy if we have people come up to go back out and meet with as many people as we can.
That's very important to us.
The tree hearings go on the website, because all meetings have to be posted.
Yes.
So if you go on sturbridge.gov, you should be able to check onto the planning board, and you should be, and the agenda gets posted, so that you will know when those hearings take place.
Keep watching the planning board meetings and conservation meetings, and these projects will come up on those meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from the audience, or any comments on this particular poll?
A motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
I was sorry, you made the motion, I'll second it.
Yep, all right, we got a motion, a second. All in favor to close the public hearing?
I'm used to you being the
Now, do we have a motion
Ask for a
to,
motion.
do we have a motion to approve new poll 92-84?
Okay, I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen approve the installation of one SO pole on Putnam Road, beginning at a point approximately 90 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Putnam Road and North Sturbridge Road. Installation of the new pole number 92 to 84. National Grid also requests permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires in the above or intersecting public ways. This will all be contingent on Conservation and Planning Board approval.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor? Yep, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just
Thank you.
ask, I know she asked about the SO. What does that actually stand for?
Sole-owned,
What is it again?
sole-owned,
Solo owned.
like sole, S-O-L-E, owned, and the
Okay,
others.
so
and the
owned, that's
others-
National Grid.
Yeah, and the other would be joint-owned.
Joint owned,
Yeah.
okay, SO and JO. I've seen them and I knew what they meant, but I just never knew what it stood for. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have a joint meeting with the Burgess School Committee, and it's a consideration and possible action on the appointment of Lindsay Goodwin to the Burgess School Committee for a term to expire at the next annual town election on April 7th, 2025. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
You want to introduce yourself for the record?
Samantha Kabinski, Chair, Burgess School Committee. Jackie Gakeley, Secretary of the Burgess School Committee. Lindsay Goodwin, here for possible appointment.
Okay, now this was advertised.
Yes.
I believe your meeting was advertised, yes.
Okay.
And the position was advertised for a while,
Position was
too, I
advertised for
believe. Yeah.
a little over a month, I believe, and Lindsay provided a letter of interest, and she was the sole letter of interest
That's my
provided.
next question.
Yes. So was it about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago?
Yes.
At our last meeting, a vote to approach.
Do you have a quorum? Do you
That's
need
what
a
I was
quorum?
wondering. I think she's a great choice, but we didn't have a quorum.
That was our confusion, and I did speak with Deb about that, because we are here because we don't have a quorum, that she said it wouldn't have been a problem because we didn't have 2 other voting members present.
Well, you need one other. Your board is a
See, that's-
five-member board.
Correct.
So, excuse me, quorum would be 3.
I think you
Right.
need the third person to,
So that was my concern.
yeah, to officially appoint. So we might need to,
And
Postpone.
maybe right ahead of town meeting.
Yeah, when's your next meeting?
Town meeting. We're
meeting
meeting
at 6.
At 6 before town
So
meeting.
we meet ahead of town meeting.
Yeah, we
do
could
it.
appoint it
Might
right
be there.
before, and then they could meet
We
at
could do a
6.
joint meeting just then if that's,
Does that work?
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I think it's great.
Everybody's going to be there anyway, so we're all going to be there anyway.
We will.
It'd be a great way to welcome you on board.
Sorry, Lindsay. That's all right, I'll be there anyway. Okay,
Great, sorry for that.
that's all right.
Yeah, we'll meet a little earlier before town meeting.
All right.
Terrific.
So 6 o'clock.
So our meeting is at 6:30 before the 7, or do we start a little early that night, do you know? I think we started at 6:30 regardless.
6:30.
6:30, okay.
So do you want to yes, you do it right at 6:30?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine would have much
No,
else.
I don't think we have much on the agendas for that, so.
I don't think we will either, and we're at 6, so we will.
So you come over at
first.
6:30, so
Correct.
you'll post your meeting?
Yes,
For 6:30 with us
correct.
at
Okay,
Tantascwa.
perfect. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have department reports. Police Chief Dessert.
Good evening. I'll be going over March and April. So during the month of March, we answered 2,578 calls. We had 73 arrests / criminal summonses, 43 incident reports, 22 motor vehicle crashes. We issued 143 citations, assisted 57 motorists, responded to 49 alarms, did 583 business or house checks, 11 domestic disturbances we were called to. We had to request mutual aid 24 times, and we provided mutual aid twice for March. Operations, nothing crazy to report for operations, business as usual there. Between Walmart and Extramart, there was four crashes with one injury there. We installed 5 child safety seats. There are no boat patrols. Training continued as usual. Nothing out of the ordinary. For the schools, we had a total of 15 calls at our schools. I had to make a correction this morning, so it shows 16, but it's actually 15. Burgess, we had a assist citizen that was to locate a child who was located quickly. Suspicious, we had a foot patrol, suspicious activity, that was just kids walking through the parking lot. They were fine, nothing there to report. Let's see, junior high, we had an overdose. Somebody ate apparently an edible gummy that caused them to have some issues. They were brought to the hospital. We assisted Spencer PD with identifying somebody that had made some threats towards the school. Then at the senior high, we had an assault and battery. A female assaulted a male party. The former girlfriend assaulted the former boyfriend. We had some threats, additional threats to the school to cause harm, a bullying investigation, and that was about it for the schools for March. Any questions for March?
Does the board have any questions?
Nope.
The edible gummy, was that like a regular gummy bear or a cannabis gummy or?
Yeah, cannabis.
Okay, I mean, now we gotta.
It wasn't too much sugar.
Well, we gotta kind of qualify. I mean, someone could have been choking on a gummy bear too.
Yeah, no, it was.
So the junior high had a cannabis gummy?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow,
so.
Not
yeah,
good.
It's there.
Well, it's-
Anything else?
Nothing else.
no.
No.
So, moving on to April, we answered 2,743 calls. Year to date, we're up about a little over 1,300 calls than we were last year the same time. We had 67 arrests / complaints, 29 incident reports, 22 motor vehicle crashes, 215 citations, assisted 40 motorists, responded to 60 alarms, did 600 business / house checks, 8 domestic disturbances, 6 B&Es / larcenies or thefts. We requested mutual aid 17 times during the month, and we responded out of town to assist other towns twice. Department operations, we again sent the members of our Semlac SWAT team and motor unit to the Boston Marathon to assist with the safety and security measures that are taken at that event. 3 motor vehicle crashes between Walmart and Extramart, 1 with injuries. Installed 8 child safety seats. There was no boat patrols. Training continued as normal operations. Burgess Elementary School, we had a fight that was reported, we responded to, and there was charges that resulted in that. There was a call for an investigation for vandalism. And then we assisted a citizen there with getting through the gate. Faculty staff didn't have their pass, so we just went up there to help them get in. Junior high, a couple alarm calls, 911, a foot patrol. Senior high, you'll see erratic operation. That was a dirt bike riding on the school property. When the officers showed up, they took off down the road into Brookfield. And then a citizen group that was just reported that a male party was walking down the road. That was investigated, didn't really turn out to be anything of importance. 911 trace, and then there was a parking violation at the high school that was addressed. So, any questions on that?
It seems like Officer Dana is getting a lot of canine requests out of town.
Yeah, he is. He's getting a couple calls, and actually, this will be for next month, for next time I come in, but We actually just used, he was called out for us, for the Hamilton Rod and Gun Club this past Saturday night. It was a 19-year-old male party that was missing for several hours. The parents were concerned, they were camping up in the area. So he got called out, started tracking, he had a scent article from the vehicle, tracked down the trail, tracked down the woods, Rhea banked a right, I guess, and they were able to communicate with this kid who was stuck in the mud up to his knees.
Oh, wow.
And had we not deployed him, found him quick enough, Saturday night was a chilly night, he could have probably went into hypothermia, and the fact that he was under the influence of alcohol probably didn't help him at all either, but, so that was another great find by him. So he's doing a great job. Right now, he's in drug school, so he's learning how to search for narcotics.
Him or the dog?
What? Yeah. Both.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing very well.
Would have any other questions? Or?
No, Chief, I still do appreciate breaking out the accidents on 20, because that's not what you hear, and that's not what you always read on Facebook. On Facebook, it's 20 accidents in 2 days and
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
It's nice.
No, it's good information
nice
to
to
have
the
and
facts.
publicly,
Right.
publicly say what happens and how many people are getting hurt. I mean, just granted, there is a decent amount down there, but
Oh, yeah.
I see crashes on Facebook all the time. Some of them are just carried over, or maybe it was a DMV that's not really a crash, or,
Yeah.
you know, so.
The 4 by the Walmart Plaza, were those like vendors, like,
Was it today?
no, in the March, there were 4 between Extra Mart and the Walmart Plaza, and you said only 1 with an injury.
Yeah, so most likely that was just a minor damage crash, maybe a fender bender, I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh,
But
okay. Because I always worry, I mean, you know, they have that designated lane to take a left into Walmart, but the cars on 20 are just flying down, and I'm always worried that they know that there's this left lane.
most of our serious crashes, I can say, are a result of turning into one of the businesses along there.
Well, that's
Somebody's
what I mean,
turning in,
'cause-
somebody's coming along and they get clipped. They think they can get in front of the car quicker, or what I call a courtesy crash is when you got the 2 lanes coming and it's one person, the person on the inside will stop for this person, but the person on the outside doesn't stop for the person. So, hey, there you go, you just got struck by a car, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
thank
do
you.
fly by, though, when there's so many different turns where people might want to turn into the bank, and the people on 20 are just heading east and going really fast.
Yeah, the speed's, I believe it's 45 through there, which is kind of
Pretty
fast.
fast.
Yeah.
The speed limit's
Yeah.
high.
It's fast when there's so many turns on that road, so, all right.
If I could also, while we had the chief, I just want to thank the police department, Tony Crane and Heather for getting our flags up.
They look good.
So they all went up, and Tony actually secured the equipment for us. We don't own that particular equipment, so Tony was able to get hold of that equipment. Heather was able to coordinate, and the police chief and his team got a detail out there so we could do it safely. So I just want to thank them for getting that done for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time for our parade.
Yes, right in time. We made sure it was done.
All right,
Am I still up, or am I coming back up?
you want to do the bi-weekly memo real? Do you have a big update? Yeah.
No, but do you want to bring the police chief's one action item up?
Yeah, let's
We'll
do that.
Action item
Yep.
F?
We got
Yep.
2, the additional part-time,
Yep.
Yeah, let's do
And
those.
what else do we have?
just down to
Oh, full-time officer, yeah.
the
Absolutely.
additional part-time.
So B and F we have.
B and F, all right.
Why don't you come on?
I apologize, I wasn't in my office. I usually
Oh,
get
that's all right, yeah.
to meet
That's all
ahead of
right.
time.
I figured that, so.
Yeah.
So tonight, I'm happy to bring forward Brendan. We've been advertising for this position for a long time. We're fortunate that he came in and applied for the position because he just graduated the police academy. He sent himself through the police academy, paid for himself to go through, sponsored by the town of Charlton. But Charlton wasn't hiring him because they didn't have any positions, so we were able to get him into Sturbridge, even though he doesn't have any experience, which is great for us, because sometimes we like to train people the way we like to train people, so it's gonna be great. He did well on his interview, and I'm happy to bring him forward to you folks today. I've completed a background check, pre-employment physical, psychological exam. That's all been completed since I wrote this memo. The one thing I do want to make a correction here that I had a typo on. I recommend appointing Brendan Baxter as a full-time police officer effective May 21st with hourly rate of what does it say, 28, instead of 88, was it 29.88, it's not 29.98 per hour. That's the correct one, 98, not 88. So if I could just make that recommendation and ask the board to accept this appointment. Make the appointment.
So does the board have any questions?
No, would Mr. Baxter like to say anything?
Yeah, I would just like to say that, I'm honored for this opportunity, and I'm excited to begin my career working in Sturbridge.
It's great, thank you.
I was impressed with your cover letter.
Thank you.
Hearing no other questions, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Brendan Baxter as a full-time police officer effective May 21st, 2024, with the hourly rate of, it was $29.98?
Yes.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor? Congratulations, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Welcome. Yeah, we'll talk about that now. Let's go. Welcome aboard, congratulations. And we'll do item F while the chief is still here?
What's that, I'm sorry?
We do item F while the chief is still
Absolutely,
here?
yeah, that's, yep.
Beautiful. So very briefly, part-time positions do not cost us from the standpoint of, that we only use them if we bring them in. It's not an automatic pay. The chief has asked that we add one more so that he can add one more person into his rotation of part-timers for availability purposes. It does not impact the budget because if one person isn't available, he just goes to the next person. It's not that all of them would be on at once. So this isn't to increase numbers at any one time as much as it is just to have a broader pool.
Yeah, I'll just expand on that a little bit. We have two of our part-timers that are out for a period of time right now, so I don't have those positions. We're coming into the summer months. And then I have two more full-timers that are going out because they're having children, new babies coming along. So I'm going to be losing them during a very busy times too. So my goal is to hopefully get the additional part-timer that can come in and help out with primarily focus on the boat patrols. Because if we don't, the part-timers generally, that's what they do is the boat patrol. And then at the end of the summer, we'll kind of get him or her to cover shifts and whatnot, and like Robin said, when doesn't impact the budget, if I run a vacancy or somebody leaves or somebody's out, and that money still comes out of my salary and wage account, so I'm not adding additional funds to have this.
It actually saves in a sense because it reduces overtime, but more than anything, forced overtime, which we
Correct.
really try to avoid.
Forced overtime is where
Overtime.
the boat patrol happens a lot, and the officers, they know it's a requirement, they know that it's a community need, so we get the boat out there, try to get it out every weekend, and, it's just nice to have it to pull from the part-time force, because I got two people out right now, for an extended period of time, it's going to be challenging, which will ultimately fall back onto the full-time officers.
Okay, Chief, with the two out, do we have any other part-timers?
We have one other part-timer.
One other.
Yep.
But this would open up to have another without eliminating those two people
Right.
who are out. They're people we would like back.
So my goal, and I don't know if it could happen if it's approved by the board, is to get somebody that's already a qualified police officer, that's just looking to scoop up some extra hours and work some weekends and.
Hang out on a boat.
Hang on a boat and do it.
I want to be deputized for that one.
That's the goal, but like I just said, we had a hard time even filling this position, but if I get approved, I will get it advertised right away and try to get it filled, so.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Me too. Yes, does the board have any other questions, or?
Nope, so
Hearing
I'll
none.
make a motion that we approve the addition of another part-time police officer.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? You guys have it, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, have a good night. Take care.
All right, back to Robin.
Yeah, very quickly, we just held interviews we had 9 candidates for the building official. 3 of those candidates had their full qualifications. They still have 18 months to get their final certification, but these were licensed and qualified, could start immediately. We did interviews with all 3. We're going to deliberate again tomorrow at 10. And I could even call you into that deliberation, Chase, if you'd like to sit in on that. We felt very comfortable. I will tell you, not to reveal too much of personnel in interview setting, but I will tell you, all three were very good, potentially could work in this community and do well, so it's a great problem to have to actually pick and choose. So that was it was a good hour and a half, and I apologize, I was a little late coming in, but that was certainly worth the time.
Okay, now, who's been sitting in on the interviews?
The interviews are Ed Goodwin, Jean Boubon, Ann Murphy, and in the review of resumes, Chase Kavinsky. So we did primary reviews of resumes. We all agreed on who the top three would be to be interviewed.
Thank you.
And National Grid polls, again, we met with the neighbors on May 9th. I'm still encouraging those with questions and concerns to reach out to me. We already discussed that. WRTA, on May 16th, I attended a tour of WRTA's maintenance operation facility. This was pretty cool. And they also taught about a travel training program, and I thought this was pretty interesting, and I'd like to look into doing this more. This is a program they have where they work with people with severe disabilities, handicaps, language barriers, whatever it may be, to learn how to ride the bus. So if somebody, let's say, for example, is challenged or has Down syndrome but is going to work but now doesn't have a parent that can get them on the bus or a guardian, this woman actually works for WRTA and individually trains and teaches people how to use the system. In our case, it's not as much of an issue because our WRTA typically does home pickup, but I do want to look and see if there is any need for that in town with any of our population. So it was just an interesting aside. It's something, a service they offer. I will talk to the Council on Aging Director. I'll talk to Leslie and see if she feels that there's some, that there might be a need for that in our community. She's somewhere around here anyway. Memorial Day reminder, Mr. Breer hosting his annual ceremony, laying of the flags for our revolutionary soldiers, and his Memorial Day celebration. No, actually, the flag laying of the revolutionaries was earlier, but this is our Memorial Day celebration out in front of the old burial ground. I welcome everybody to come. Mr. Breer does just a tremendous job coordinating this, and it's a beautiful event. And again, a thank you to DPW, Tony Crane particularly, and Sturbridge PD to get those flags up. That is it from me.
Awesome. Any questions from the board?
No?
Okay. All right. Let's jump right into our action items. Consideration and possible action on signing the town meeting warrant.
So that's just the formality of getting the warrant signed. I think Lynn spoke with you ahead.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna
just
be
a formal
posted.
vote that, yep.
We have a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen sign the town meeting warrant for posting.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor? Yep. The ayes have it. We took care of B. Action item C, consideration and possible action on the appointment of Lillian Harvey as a full-time firefighter paramedic. How you doing?
Before I present Ms. Harvey, I'd just like to, Chief Grasso sends his regrets, and I also like to say how happy I am to be here, to be able to appoint 2 full-time and a possible third, a part-time, to fill some recent vacancies. We've been running a little short, and things have been a little hectic for the last couple of months, so very happy to be here and get this done. Ms. Harvey comes to us with experience from the Warren Fire Department. Very highly recommended from them. Firefighter 1-2. Very soon she'll be graduating from the Fire Academy next month, and she's an EMT basic as well, with plans to attend medic school in January in Maria, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that is Lillian Harvey.
Great. Does board have any questions from Ms. Harvey?
I know who's running that program.
Do we know if there's an opening for her in January? Are you already,
I started the enrollment process already.
oh, good. I don't know if there was like hooked up, so we got to get her name in there.
She'll be in there.
She'll be in there. Nice. It sounds like a long time from now, but time just zips, so, yeah. Good.
Any other questions from the board? If not, take a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Lillian Harvey as a full-time firefighter paramedic.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Motion, second, all in favor? Congratulations.
We don't need the hourly rate and all that like we
Is
usually
it on there?
have.
It's not on there?
Consistent with provisions of
Yeah, I would say
the
just consistent with
CBA,
provisions of the CBA.
Town of Sturbridge.
As amended.
As
As
a-
amended, yeah.
Teamsters Local 170.
Yep.
Okay.
You're good.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
All right. Next up, we have consideration and possible action on the appointment of Addison Dana as a full-time firefighter paramedic.
Right, the second vacancy we're hoping to fill with Addison Dana. He's a Sturbridge native, and we're very excited to have him on board. He comes also highly recommended with experience from the town of Pomfret, Connecticut Fire Department, where he currently serves as an EMS lieutenant, and we're hoping to tap that experience and knowledge for our benefit. Dana is also firefighter 1-2, and he is a National Registered EMT. And we welcome him aboard for your pleasure.
That's great. Does the board have any questions?
Nope, and Pomfret is within the 25 miles. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
17 point something.
Yeah. Good.
Great. So if hearing no other questions, do we have a motion?
I would be very happy to appoint Addison Dana as a full-time firefighter paramedic.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Consistent with hourly
The
rate
CBA.
under the collective
Yeah.
bargaining agreement.
So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Congratulations.
Jessica said congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
Great. Yeah. Next up, we have consideration and possible action on the appointment of Cameron Courtney as a part-time firefighter EMT.
All right, to fill a part-time call vacancy, we have Cameron, who is also a Sturbridge native, comes to us with experience from the Brookfield Fire Department. He's an EMT, currently also works for a private ambulance company, and is going to be attending the part-time fire academy at the very next vacancy.
That's great. Does the board have any questions?
Are all these towns going to be talking to us that we're pulling from?
We've been receiving hate mail.
What's that?
We've been receiving hate mail.
Too bad.
welcome to the club.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
What's new?
That's great. So no, I'm hearing no questions. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Cameron Courtney as a part-time firefighter EMT.
In accordance
Consistent
with
with
the
those.
CBA.
Article 7.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
You're welcome, Chief.
Hey, thank you.
Good news for our department.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
All right.
That was my singing buddy.
Really?
Addison.
There goes the audience.
He was my singing buddy
Yeah.
from, because Jesse went to school with him.
Chase, I think item G is withdrawn, so you might want to,
I'm sorry?
item G is going to be withdrawn.
Item G is
You might
with,
just want to announce that. He moved.
Tough to put a
was
dock
he the
in.
gentleman who was
Yeah,
here
the
last
young man that
meeting?
was here last time.
He moved?
I believe he moved, so
Wow,
you just
this
might want to
place
announce it.
clear out.
Now I feel so alone.
Yeah, so item G is strike.
Yeah, so I would just publicly announce that item G is withdrawn, but
Yep, item G is withdrawn from tonight's meeting.
He was the one that we wanted a
yeah, the
drawing
overhead
of.
map, and we
Yeah.
sent it to him that night. Michelle sent it to him that
Right.
day. And then I had Elisa call him, and he said, oh, I moved.
Oh, but this is,
But we have two of them, we have a different one. Item H is a different doc application.
Yep.
What happened was Lisa had still put it in here.
Oh, okay.
And then after realized, she called him Friday. I said, give that guy a call. I haven't heard from him.
Yeah.
So, but then we had another one, and I don't think anybody's here for.
All right, next up, we have action item H, consideration and possible action on a temporary dock application for Judith A. Ross, 288A Clark Road Extension, Fiskdale.
And I don't know anything except that the application was received, and you have it in your packet. I think it had met all of the requirements, but
Well, I always have trouble finding my dock book. Because I think, don't we have a requirement for distance from the property line?
I'm not sure if there's a setback on that. I don't know.
You know, I don't
think it's,
So we haven't had a distance from the property line. Where we ran into issues was with people putting a boat over the property line,
right,
on the water.
yeah. I think the dock can actually be on the line as long
Correct.
as they don't tie the boat to
on
that side.
Yes.
I agree with that, because we can't do any, we don't have a setback, they can go
No,
all
there's
the
no
way
way to do a
up.
setback in the water.
Yeah, but I thought there were a couple of times where we had the dock moved, and not because of the boat.
Not because of the
But
boat?
because of the dock being right on the property line. Because this 12 feet that's right on the property line, I assume that's probably where they want to put their boat. Because the other side of the dock would be only,
I thought they might want to put it along the 8-foot. I thought they wanted to put the dock, I was thinking the boat would go on the cross member.
Well, I thought the boat would probably, go on the 8-foot out,
Yeah, I think
like
that's
you
what
walk out.
the
and it's
plan of that
right there,
design, I
but,
think, is the
I mean,
boat goes
we
that way.
We should get some clarification on that, so we
So we may
could,
have them come in next time if you'd like.
Yeah.
they should come in, yeah, just
Yeah.
because we've had some issues
yeah,
with
and I do know there was,
Cedar Lake, I'm thinking.
yeah, no, I think there was one,
The one we had
South
last year was a
Pond.
boat. Last year's was a boat on the
Right.
side.
yeah,
Yes.
that's
But,
what,
yeah.
but I
But we
just.
could have them come in next time.
You know what too would be helpful is if with these dock permits, if we have a copy of our guidelines.
Yeah, well, I can get that
Usually-
policy up for you, yeah.
You usually
Because
do.
Yeah, we usually do. They
I know, that's
fixed it
okay.
last week.
Because
yeah.
honestly, we can't remember.
Poor Lisa was trying to pull this agenda together, and she was doing her best, but.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
These are
and I
special.
rely on Michelle to do those things, so I have to admit.
And of
it's on
all
me
my
not to-
books.
Well, no
one I
harm,
couldn't
nobody's here
find.
anyway.
Well, the dock is not a bylaw, it's actually a policy.
It's a
So that's
guideline.
why it's harder to find, it's not a bylaw, and that's
Oh.
what we ran into last time.
I should look in the policy book
Yeah, it should be in there,
that I have,
maybe, but,
that I touched.
so we can ask them to
This is where
come
the
back.
harbor masters.
Yep, we
sit.
can ask them to come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Next up, action item I, consideration and possible action on the reappointment of John Durkey to the Design Review Committee for a term to expire on June 16th, 2027. Seems pretty self-explanatory. Robin, you,
Nope.
no
Issue
issues?
there, we just support it.
Great, all right.
Okay, I'll make a motion to reappoint John Durkey to the Design Review Committee for a term to expire on, June 16th, 2027.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor? The ayes have it.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. No, I'll do it on Joe business. Keep going.
Next up, action item J, consideration and possible action on a transient vendor license for Wendy Collins, Collins Gifts of Rye, New Hampshire, for a Dolls Bears miniature show at the Sturbridge Host Hotel on June 2nd, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is a repeat, we've,
Do it every year.
every year,
All the
I've
bears.
never had a problem, so. Do we have a motion from the board?
So moved.
We have a motion, a second?
Second.
Motion, a second, all in favor? Ayes have it, thank you. Action item K, consideration and possible action to enter into an agreement with Karen Sunnerbog Consulting for the provision of housing consulting support services for the Affordable Housing Trust.
So this is the continuation of a housing consultant, however, the consultant we had been using did not reapply. They're all flat out busy, and we're sort of moving into a new span of this, where we have a part-time person that we will eventually be hiring. We only had one submission for bid. but Jean did do some poking around and some background. Her references were very strong, very good. She's got the detail type of background that we're now looking to move toward. The original consultant did a lot of the broad conceptual. Things are ready to move forward more concretely, so Jean was comfortable with this. The only thing I will say is that I would ask that if you support this, you authorize me to sign. Typically, you sign these. And the reason I ask that, I did speak to the chair as well about this today. Our Maya insurances require like a $2 million umbrella and a $1 million car policy. These single consultants cannot afford that. And we have in the past reduced that to $1 million. And I spoke with Jamie about this, and if we get approval from Maya that they bless that, I'd like authority to be able to sign it. I would normally just have you sign it, but I don't want to have to wait 2 weeks if we don't have to. So if you would authorize me to sign it pending Maya approval of the insurance numbers.
Great.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to enter into an agreement with Karen Sonneborg Consulting for the provision of housing consultant support services for the Affordable Housing Trust at a price of $17,250, with the stipulation with Maya's approval, the town administrator will be able to sign.
Second?
We have a motion, a second, all in favor? The ayes have it, thank you. Now we have old business, town administrator's review. Do you want to wait for the chair, or do you want to, I think you've got a, I think you've got a very good review, and.
I'm fine. I received a copy of it. I had no reaction or response, like no negative, nothing I am uncomfortable with,
I
if you
think
will.
Jamie wants to discuss it at our first June meeting.
That's good, yeah, we'll wait for the
I
chair.
think he just submitted it, so
Yes, so I would
you have it to
right, if there was any
reflect on.
conflict or
And we'll
concerns.
discuss it next
Yes.
week, because he's got to read it out loud.
Oh,
It's a
sounds
public
good. Yeah,
document.
let's, yep, at our next meet, which will be after town meeting.
No, it will be town meeting. The next
we'll
meeting is
do it
actually
at
town meeting.
Okay, perfect.
So that's
is that what
it's
we're
probably
doing
going to be the only agenda item,
Yeah,
along with the school committee, so.
great. Mayor, do you have any old
Oh,
business?
yeah, my old business is, I just pulled up the dock regulations and sent it to everybody.
Oh, beautiful.
I did a little search on my email. To the best of my knowledge, this was from Leon. One of the select people asked me for a copy of our dock regulations. I don't believe, but Mary could confirm, that since 2018, we've changed them in the last 5 years.
No, and I can tell you, since I've been here, we haven't even enforced.
And we didn't change them with Jeff Bridges or any interim. So I think this is what we have. I mean, we could consider.
The version
but-
I have is several years old.
Okay, so I think this is,
Yeah. the
Okay,
latest
great,
version.
thank you.
I just sent it.
Beautiful.
Mary Blanchard, do you have,
Well, I did have a question on the dock permit that
Well, there we go.
didn't get a response, he moved. Also, did anyone go to Condessa's opening?
We had several staff members. I was at the WRTA that morning, and I believe Terry and I believe Jean went. So we did have staff.
That's good, because...
Yes. I tried to get in, but I got tied up at the WRTA, so.
Okay, that's all I had for old.
Mary Lou, do you have any old business?
Do not.
And I have no old myself. You know what, I do have a little old. The parking lot, do you expect they're gonna pave that soon, or is there hitting a hang-up over there?
501 Main?
Yeah.
That should be coming soon. We met out there with the sign gentleman to get the signage in order.
Yeah.
I think that should probably be within the next several weeks. We were waiting on some DOT stuff that we got.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah, of course.
I had a resident in town, a business person, say, can the town, because he commented that there's not as many parking spots as, I mean, there's a good amount, but there's not.
Yeah.
But the question was, it's like a legal question, I couldn't answer it. Can we apply for variances too, to like, alter what our setbacks are to get more? Parking, if we wanted, I just didn't know, how does a town go about
Same
requesting?
protocol that the public would go.
That's what I told him.
Yeah,
That's
we
what I
have to go
thought.
through that. But again, you're against conservation land back there, and you're some wetlands, so it's likely it would not be approved. But
Okay.
we could not just arbitrarily say.
Oh, I knew that.
So we
but-
can.
But we can
have
follow the same
rights.
process.
Yes, we do have
Okay,
rights.
that's
I mean, they've done that on
Yeah.
other places.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so,
what I
but we
thought.
have, yeah, we sort of have the same rights, if you will.
And how
as an
many
entity.
parking spots did it end up being?
I don't know off the top of my
I
head.
wanna say it was 40 to 44.
I thought that 40 is the number I see in my head,
Yeah,
but
that's
I.
what I-
Well, wait a minute. That's not on the parking lot.
That's a huge amount.
That's the senior center.
Okay, I knew I was
That
getting
why
my
that number's
signals
in my
crossed.
head,
That
40?
40 is in my head for
He had
something.
said like
10?
a very low amount, like 9.
No, it's
No,
more
it's
than
more
that.
than that,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I could text Heather, maybe.
It's definitely not 40 though, because that's, I don't
Yeah.
think.
That's the
Yeah,
center, you're right, that's
that's-
the center, because you must have been looking at the same thing.
40's in my head for
Right, is that the
something.
senior center? Yeah.
Yeah, all right, that's what it's,
It was 17 in that part.
yeah. Okay, that would make sense.
It's not that much.
Well,
But I did
what we
indicate
could do
that I
is-
thought the town
yeah.
had to follow the same, but certainly could follow the
Yes,
same
yes,
process.
yep, we do, and we can. Okay. I'm just texting Heather, maybe I'll catch her.
Great.
See how many-
New business. Mary Lou?
Nothing?
Not tonight.
I have none myself, thank you. Correspondence.
You should have 2 in your packet.
We have a letter from CMG Environmental concerning Sturbridge Retirement Co-op, and we have a letter from John B.
Graysons.
DeGrays, and thank you for the pronunciation, regarding funding for the new water tank. The letter was strongly in support of the Finance Committee's decision that, decision or recommendation, I should say, to be more clear, that the water users fund it, and it does not come from the town's free cash.
So if I might, the gentleman did come in and speak with me. I explained the funding options, just he wanted some clarification. And he said he was, as you indicate, in support of how the Finance Committee is suggesting it. I did tell him that if there was going to be a public discussion of that, if the board was going to submit a substitute motion, the board has to publicly discuss and vote if they're going to collectively submit a substitute motion. And that would happen prior to town meeting, because it wasn't an agenda item to discuss it. Even though his letter's there, it really crosses a line for us to actually discuss it tonight, not as a separate agenda item. If it's the will of the board, before the next meeting, for any member of the board, let's say, to ask to have this put on the agenda, I can put it on the agenda for June 3rd prior to town meeting for a sub-motion, or any board member individually could put it as a sub-motion with signatures as any member of the public as well. So if the board does not do that, it goes forward with the Finance Committee recommendation. So just informational on that. I just want to be careful not to get into a discussion on it without it being on an agenda item. Thank you.
Right. Next up, approval of minutes.
And I think 20 parking lot, approximately 20 spaces, Heather believes. She said Jean would know more accurately off the top of her head, but Heather says around 20, so.
23 with 2 hands.
Okay, so
23
with
with 2 handicap.
I don't know
All right,
where
we're
he
gaining
gets
a couple.
that figure that he gave me. So, I don't know what, go ahead.
No.
I don't want to interrupt, but with the approval of the minutes, unless Mary or
I can't.
Mary Lou, they were both absent, so
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they're going to abstain, in which case we
You
can't.
need Jamie here.
We need Jamie.
Yep,
And you know, if there are corrections, we're probably better off having Michelle here anyway.
yeah,
to
yep,
do those,
let's,
so.
we'll jump the
So we'll
minutes.
hold.
Yep.
Yep, let's hold on them. All right, citizens forum. I'm assuming you're not here for that, Les? Executive session.
Okay, I will make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant, we don't have, to Mass General Laws, what, I can't remember the executive session.
40, I had it in my thing, 43, hold on a second.
Isn't it?
It's not on it, but I
I
can't
thought it was on there,
remember what
but
it
I
is.
will, hold on one second.
I'm not sure we need it, but
I don't
Well,
believe
you
you
do,
do.
you have to cite.
For those, hold on one sec- oh, you know what? Bear with me 1 second, Mass.
well, we have to cite, but I have the description of that, so I don't, I just really need the Mass General Law number.
Yep, let's see, get notified. Sorry about that, I got it.
That's okay, we should know this by heart.
Yeah.
I want to say 43, blah, 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 but, let's see. Should be in my letter. You guys, sorry about this, guys.
Want to take a 5-minute recess?
I should have it.
Sure, yeah, we can take a 5-minute recess till we find it.
I can look it up very easily.
right here, hold on.
Your fingers work good.
Mass General Law. Mass General Law, 30A, Section 21A1.
I just filled it up at the exact same time that you did. Okay, I will make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, for the purpose of discussing the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health, rather than the professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. Should I say the second one, should we vote on this one first? Or
No, I think
do
you
the
can do them
second one?
both together.
And also convene an executive session for the purpose of conducting strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel regarding the fire chief contract and the fire contract, and not to resume an open session.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, and how do we vote?
Yes.
Yes. I vote yes.
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 All right, now considered executive session.